Hey everyone, my name is Daniel and welcome back to the Finance Channel. Here today, I'm joined by the CEO and co-founder of Voyager Digital, Steve Ehrlich. Thank you so much for coming on.
For having me. Appreciate it. As we were saying, getting held up in the snow here. Good time to do this and catch up with you because it's been a while.
Oh, 100%. So I wanted to start off, obviously it's about a month into the new year here, and I just wanted to focus here on 2021 as it was a big year of a lot of positives, a lot of growth, and in addition, also a lot of areas for improvement. So, what are some of the most valuable things that you learned throughout the year that you can potentially implement throughout 2022 here?
2021 was just an amazing year from so many aspects. Started the year 40,000 funded accounts, all the numbers you guys all know, 250 million customer assets. End of the year, adding over a million funded accounts in a year, adding over 5 billion of customer assets, kind of unheard of. And I think the one thing that we learned was we had to scale, right? I mean, we had to scale the business, and scaling was at the expense of adding more products. We just couldn't do both. It was a near impossibility to do both at the same time because you can't throw a debit card or international into a system that wasn't scaled, right? It wouldn't work. It would have broke. But the December quarter was extremely telling for us because all the work we did in scaling when we had crazy volume in October, November, continued unbelievable account growth when we announced the Mark Cuban and the Mavs deal. The amount of account growth was off the charts,
Hmm.
and we never broke. I mean, it just didn't happen. So I think all those things proved the work that we did for the year, which sets us up now for 2022 for the product expansion. And we now, we have 275 people now, up from 35 a year ago. So
Yeah.
more developers really has been key, and more service folks have been key too. So we learned a lot from 21. But our banker, to give people some idea, one of our bankers that we work with a lot gave me some information. In the public markets, we were the third largest company by revenue growth year over year, going from 7
Wow.
million to 415 million. Of all the US public markets, the
That's
third.
nuts.
It's
Yeah.
nuts. So for all the folks that I know, we disappointed in not delivering X, Y, or Z, we delivered 400 million of new revenue in 2021. We had something had to give, right? And so 2022 is about product.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of made this analogy, and I don't know if this is maybe true. It was almost like a cat and mouse situation in 2021 where you'd scale, more people joined, you'd scale, and you couldn't catch up to the demand. So is that starting to flip now to where you're able to?
It absolutely has. The number of tickets we have on the server side, I know people like your server. Well, the number of tickets we have that are the backlog's gone. We've tripled our service staff. Yeah, it was very much a cat and mouse. And I think part of it is we got a little bit of a breather here in January because the markets have been very quiet. Very quiet from, outside a couple of days where it drops, prices drop significantly, but we haven't had this massive volatility. I know we've had long conversations with a lot of people in the industry. This isn't really volatility when it drops, pops, and rolls, right? That's really what's happening. It just kind of stays there. And
Yeah.
so it's been an opportunity for us to catch up on a lot of things. And we are excited. We have some stuff coming very quickly in February. So we're excited by that.
Fascinating. Now, so this is kind of a follow-up in the sense that you've grown your revenue so significantly, AUM, funded accounts, yet the stock and the token have been on a bit of a downtrend, or not a bit of a downtrend, pretty significant one
Sugarcoat it.
since.
Trust me, it sucks. It sucks. It's not. It's been a tough ride.
Yeah.
Speaking on the stock side, it's been a tough ride.
Yeah. So, why do you think Voyager is so disrespected by the stock and crypto market? And, what do you think needs to change, whether that's internal or external, to earn that respect?
Yeah, so I don't call it disrespect. I think what's happened in the public markets is a risk off trade in a lot of
Hmm.
cases. Once interest rates were known to be rising, inflation rose. There was a lot of fund managers, a lot of retail, traders, a risk off trade. They took the trades off of the growth companies, and it's pretty easy to see. I run a watch list that I look at every day that has SoFi and Moneyline and all these guys that are similar in fintechs as us. SoFi is bigger, Moneyline smaller. Moneyline came out of the SPAC at $10, peaked at
Yeah.
12. It's 250, 240. So it's down.
Wow.
It's down 76% off of their SPAC and 80 something percent off of 90% off of the highs. So
Yeah.
it's fintech as a risk off trade. People aren't paying for growth right now. And that's just a temporary solution. I saw this in 2000, 2001. Same thing happened when we had a reval. There were days Oracle was $3. So,
Huh. That's
it's going to happen. I'm okay. What I keep telling, I had a town hall with my entire team yesterday, 275 odd people. And I was like, hey guys, just work. Just continue, put your head down and
yeah.
work, keep developing. The markets will pay for that at some point, right? Just not right now. And that reflects the stock and the token. I mean, it's just a tough market right now.
Yeah. I look at it very similarly with a lot of these companies. Is a rise in interest rate really going to impact them on a fundamental level? And for 99.9% of companies out there, the answer to that is no, right? So, it's a very similar situation with Robinhood, even, which is that
Robinhood's
was
down
crazy.
90%, 80. They hit a high of 70, and I think they were below 10 the other day.
Yeah.
So, they've had their lumps too. It's just the industry. It's fintech right now, not paying for the growth. But like I said, that'll turn itself around. I speak to a lot of the CEOs in crypto across different industries. I mean, look, different verticals within crypto. You got the guys at Fireblocks and Block Damon, and those guys are getting unbelievable valuations with no revenue.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have real revenue and we don't get the valuation. But there's a disconnect between private and public. That
Oh, yeah.
three things can happen, right? Either the public markets reach the private markets reach the public, go down to the public markets because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
overvalued, or we meet somewhere in between. And I bet you it's
Yeah.
going to be somewhere in between over the next few years.
Yeah. That makes sense. Do you think NASDAQ, or I guess lack of a NASDAQ uplisting, is partially like the reason?
I don't think NASDAQ would have any plus side for us if we were there right now. It's not helping Moneyline, it's not helping Robinhood, it's
Yeah.
not helping SoFi.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll have any. I don't think that's the issue at all. I just think it's a risk off trade that's happening right now, and people aren't paying for the growth. And at some point they will, but it's just not right now, and that's okay. I mean, that just leaves us the opportunity to grow. And as I tell everyone, I was like, just don't, for my team, don't worry about it. We keep building a business and keep adding product, which is really coming, very, very, very close, very soon. So that's the first time I use the word soon. So that's good. We'll keep a track on that. We're okay. Everything will take care of itself.
Yeah, makes sense. I did want to hear maybe some more color on this announcement we got a couple weeks ago from your securities selling plan, which you did withdraw. So I don't know, maybe could you talk a little bit about like why you removed it and just the idea around it?
Why we did it, and then why
Yeah.
I removed it. We were working on it for a while. We're in a blackout period. So under the blackout period, under the rules, and the Canadian equivalent, the US equivalent's a 10b5 plan, and Canada has different rules, slightly
Yeah.
different than the US. Uh, we were working on it for a while. We finally got it done with the brokers, with the board, everybody. Everybody was on board for me to sell 1 million shares ratably. So 1/12 a month starting in February. So 83,000 shares a month for 12 months. And everybody was on board with it. Rationale was I bought those shares instead of asking the company or the company paying me a bonus or anything of that nature and using company cash for that. Uh, you know, Go sell your shares.
Yeah.
That'll get you some cash flow. It's your money. It saves the company money, and no harm, no foul. Well, it didn't get received very well. A lot of institutional investors, emailed, called, weren't real happy with it. I work for the investors, and if they weren't happy with it, even with they said to me, "I'd rather you take a bonus than sell shares."
Hmm.
I'm like, I think that's crazy, but if that's what you want, we'll work that out with the board. So I said, first step first, I'm going to repeal the plan. No intention of selling shares. I believe in what we're doing. I knew it was a
Yeah.
low price to sell it, but it was the right thing for the company and the investors. But if the investors don't like it, we pulled it, and so now it's pulled. Won't come back anytime soon, and we'll just keep again building the business and worrying about me selling shares at a later date.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of people do have that correlation between selling a stock and going bearish on it, um, which in a lot of situations isn't the case. So again, thank you for that. Um, I did also want to talk about your latest quarterly report, and I guess this is kind of a trend where, in regards to your rewards program, it looks like you're paying out more in rewards than you're taking in with staking and lending. So, can we expect that to flip at some point to maybe break even, or is this an area of profitability over the long term?
Profitability. So I'll give you some stats. If people really, they could do the stats. It's all in when the December come out, you'll really see the stats. But you know, we looked at the negative on the rewards as customer acquisition tool, and we were really good at it.
Mhm.
Which by the way, I know the numbers of retail consumers by Crypto.com, Coinbase, FTX, Gemini, Binance US. I got them all. We've seen all the decks from all the private companies and the public companies are out there. We're the third largest in the U.S. by AUM and funded accounts. So
Uh-huh.
to folks that be like, these guys are bigger. There's whatever. We're the third largest behind Crypto.com and Coinbase. In the U.S. by AUM on retail consumers, not institutional, retail consumers and retail funded accounts. Uh, so we used it as an acquisition tool. Do we think eventually we're going to get it level and then eventually long term make money on that? Yeah, we do as we get more scale. But we use that negative as a customer acquisition tool, and the rates really haven't changed much. We're just getting better with our programs and how we can manage the balance sheet.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I remember one of the things that a lot of people talked about throughout all of 2021 is you just wait till 2022 comes. These rates are going to drop to zero and it's going to be the end of Voyager.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the part of the social media world that actually makes me laugh more than anything else.
Yeah.
Uh, is everybody's got an opinion. That's good, cool. I mean, everybody's got one. There's the saying about opinions. We'll leave that one alone. But go have them. You want to rip me, f bomb me, tell me I suck. I wake up the next day. I got a company that is very supportive, family around that's supportive. Like you could tell me all you want, I suck, but that's okay. I hear it worse at times from my own family and friends and employees when they get mad at me. So that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's it's
It's
awesome.
it's what it is. It is what it is.
It's kind of funny. I mean, a lot of people just out there blurting out random things, and just gotta keep going, keep going by. Anyways, when it comes to you being a registered broker dealer, does this eliminate a lot of the SEC risk with Voyager that has been seen with things like Coinbase and BlockFi?
Look, I think we're in constant dialogue with all the regulators, but we don't put anything through the regulated broker dealer. We have it in case we're told, hey, all this stuff's got to be a security. Well, we'll put it
Okay.
through the regulated broker dealer. But I've been known to give long speeches as well on the regulated broker dealer entity and digital assets, and I'm well versed in it. Having been in that space for 28 years now. I carry a Series 7 still, a Series 8, Series 14, 24, 27, 63. I carry six licenses in the FINRA world. I know financial operations and all the financial operation rules about custody of assets and customer reserve. There's not one rule written for digital assets. And so you
Hmm.
can't put this stuff into a broker dealer yet. It'll
Yeah.
come when they write the rules, but you can't. But it's there for us when they ever say, "Hey, you need to put this into a registered broker dealer." We have it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a big disconnect between like the regulation needed and what the SEC and the individuals over there want to accomplish. So, it's just a waiting game at this point. But it's good that you do have that. When it comes to VG,
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
and I just wanted to add VGX in addition to that, which has I actually got a surprising amount of questions about VGX potentially be deemed a security.
On Coinbase. So to get registered on Coinbase, you have to go through every, a deep analysis. That's not our analysis; it's their analysis. So make your own assessment. We're registered on the biggest exchange and probably the biggest, most regulated exchange in the world because they are registered on and listed on NASDAQ, and the SEC follows them closely. They did the work. So outside and independent of us and our lawyers doing the work, they've done the work.
Oh wow, so they did it.
They have to. Yeah, to get listed on their exchange, they put you through a process.
Hmm,
And so I feel really comfortable where VGX sits today.
fascinating. Huh. Is Gronk really 6'6"?
So funny story. Well, I was at the game in as you guys saw the picture. I was at the game in when they beat the Eagles. So any Eagle fans out there, sorry, man. I was diehard rooting for the Bucs. I'm a Giant fan. Can't stand the Eagles. All my college buddies are Eagle fans. I hate them. I hate green. And so I went to dinner with him afterward. Erica from my team, with Gronk, his girlfriend Camille, who's just really, really, really nice as well, and Gronk's brother and Gronk's dad and their significant others. We went to take that picture. We did, and he stood up, and I was like, "No way, man! No way am I standing next to you. You're a foot taller than me, give or take. No way." Which is how he got it to be there because he is. He's a giant.
Yeah.
But one of the night, I mean, just a night at the end of the night, and I recommend anybody go to the restaurant we did in Tampa if you're in there, a place called Roca's. Gronk's one of his favorite places. You know, we just spoke crypto for the last hour. We were just doing crypto between all of us. Nothing before that was football, life, all that, and then just crypto. Because he wanted to learn more. Camille did. It was great. It was just such a great evening with a great family.
Oh, that's awesome. And we just got that news here today with Tom Brady retiring. He's with FTX, so that's
Yeah,
yeah,
Brady retiring and is it's not just sports news; it's international news with
yeah.
him retiring. He still hasn't said it publicly. I guess I was listening to something on ESPN before I came on. He hasn't told the Bucks yet, but it seems like it's the truth that
Yeah.
he's not coming back.
Yeah. You know, it's a legend in his own space there. It's incredible what he's done. But yeah. When it comes to your employees, you've talked a lot about the fact that it's grown so significantly in terms of your team over there, and um, when it comes to employees, the more you add, the more you can achieve. But with that comes a lot of additional expenses. So why should this growth in employees excite investors from a long-term point of view?
Kudos to my team, which has grown quite a bit over the year, and my leadership team, which has grown over
Hmm.
2021. We made a lot of additions. But it all started in 2018 with myself and really my chief operating officer, Gerard Hanchy, which a lot of guys follow on Twitter. Gerard and I, with a small group of people, built the entire business, and we were able to add to that team in 21 with Dan coming on board and Pam and Rakesh and Evan slightly before that. And, we built a really deep team. Now we went even deeper, like we're building, more staff. And why people should be excited about that is really because, as these folks get up to speed, you can't jump in, you can't take an engineer and say, go in here and start building on someone else's system because they're learning the code. When they get up to speed, the products, the debit card, the dark mode, the desktop, the international, the credit products, the equity trading, they'll come faster. they have to come faster because we've got everything ready to go and we've got a deeper team. And we put people into different pods. So we have like our equity team, we have our debit card team. And so the engineers are working just on that, which we didn't have the ability to do in 21 because pretty much everybody was on scaling. But now we're into teams on that. And not only do we have it from an engineering, we have it from a product perspective. So building out the product. And we decided this, it was Dallas Mavs and Mark Cuban were kind enough just as we were signing with them to allow us, and we did a big strategic meeting in Dallas. Literally, we sat in the locker room for the Dallas Mavericks. Porzingis' locker and Luka's locker were right behind us, and we put together how we were going to build out the teams to grow faster. And we decided to do them into pods. It's working very well for us right now too on that.
Okay. So, I mean, I had a follow-up question of like what you're prioritizing as far as staff and resources go. So you're saying it's very spread out amongst these groups of people, but are there still things that you are like focusing on more than others?
Every group has their focus, right? Like, so we have what we call a crypto innovation, which is our guys that are on blockchain and NFTs. So we're working on an NFT solution. We're working on adding more protocols with more developers so that we can answer the questions that people want to like, well, I want Luna transfers. Yeah, so do I. But, we're adding those. And so we added a lot more developers. That group was prioritized on adding more protocols that we could add deposits, withdrawals, and then work with the chain analysis and the elliptics and others to manage the AML out. We have our mobile app side, which is just about ready to launch the dark mode side. Then we have a desktop group, which is just about ready to launch that. That's their highest priority. The debit card group, I mean, I actually, there's mine. I have it. I mean, this is the letter for it. I can't show you the card because then everyone will know the numbers, but that is the debit card. So it's we had dupes of those, just fake ones into a corporate account being tested. Now we're coming and the real one is right here. I got it in the mail, 2 days ago. I'm ready to use it when I can get back out. The debit card group is ready to launch. So it's not one priority and everything goes down. It's across the groups, and each one has their priorities to get stuff done. And that's the most important thing. That's what we decided back in October. Instead of being linear with everything, we're going to build these groups, and they're going to build products on top of that.
So a lot of these are very imminent in that sense, like with the debit card, with the dark mode, things like that.
Debit, dark, and desktop are imminent. They're happening at least in some phase in February, maybe tail into March. They're here. They're being tested now. So those are exciting. And then on top of that, all the other things, the equities and all that, we're working with the Market Rebellion with John and Pete and Dirk on that. We have a group working on that. So that's just going to take more time because, I saw a lot of stuff too. Like, hey, it's, just to add it. Well, it's a UI UX thing. You don't just add equities without changing the app, right? And one of the best things about our app is the ease of use and what people like. So we got to figure out where does that go? Where does the equities go in the app? Where does the credit products go? Because it just doesn't go. You just don't throw it into it. So it's how you manage and engage in the app too. And that's all being worked out.
Oh, it's all awesome. Is it difficult hiring in today's landscape?
Actually, we would like to hire faster across the engineering aspect. We're everything else we're pretty good, but engineers it's extremely competitive. Good engineers are extremely competitive to get. We look across the globe. We have engineers we get through our Quantify guys in Denmark. We've just opened up an opportunity to get engineers in Latin and South America. We obviously have in the U.S. So we look everywhere. We look across the globe. It's not easy. It's a very competitive landscape.
Interesting. Okay, so would you ever consider a buyout of Voyager? And if so, like, would there be conditions of this? Because I mean, a lot of people have been discussing this, the chances of it happening. So,
as a public company, if I was private, the answer is different, but probably not much different. As a public company, my job is I have fiduciary obligations, and would we consider it? I don't know. I mean, nobody's made me one, so I don't. one that at least we would consider that I would take to the board. So it'd have to be in front of me, but I have a fiduciary obligation to take a real offer that was not in a really super depressed market to the
Mhm.
market. But who knows? I mean, it's a hard question because until someone puts something real in front of you that you could take to the board, you just keep going and grow. I haven't done this
Yeah.
before. Again, I built Lightspeed, and we got offers come in, and we turned a bunch down. And E-Trade, we were actually the acquirer so many times, and it's hard. I think you always listen. You'd be silly not to have your ears open, but it's not something we're actively out there trying to figure out how to do.
Makes sense. Yeah. In terms of Coinify, how much growth do you see in that segment of your business over the coming years? And like what changes can we see like to the brand, maybe some implementations with Voyager and Coinify, things like that?
Coinify has two distinct parts of their business. One is they do a lot of widgets into self-custodial wallets around the globe. And they have a lot of clients that way. And that will probably always stay Coinify, so not to confuse those folks that are using those self-custodial wallets. But then the payment side will be rebranded Voyager. Tim Munn just came on board. I've known Tim 20 years. He's a SaaS enterprise salesman. To pay, to work on getting it into more PSPs and into places like Shopify and Checkout and those places to embed the Voyager crypto mechanism and payment structure. So you'll see it. UCO is close. They're doing some work building to our API. That's be one of the bigger merchants to start off with. But we have some bigger companies that are talking to us too about the payment side.
Interesting. So would you keep this separate, or like would it be like a Voyager payment terminal, like maybe something like Square has, or is it separate?
Wouldn't be a terminal because we don't think we need a terminal. We think we
Okay.
could embed the QR codes into websites relatively easy. So if
Okay.
you're a merchant and you want to accept crypto, you can embed our API in the QR code. I could take my phone and be like, ding, there's a QR code, send them, make the payment. And we think the same thing could happen in some of the payment terminals like the Vodafone and some of the other ones that you do. We could embed the QR code into it. When you go to pay, you say
Okay.
crypto, then the QR code comes, you take your phone and you do it. And that's how you would pay.
Okay. So it's more of like you guys would take care of the crypto side of things and
Correct.
implement into the existing, USD CAD options.
The debit card is, the first real time you're actually using crypto to make payments. Most people make you do a prepaid card. We're not
Yeah.
prepaying, and that's what makes it so interesting and why we took a different tact with the debit card. You're going to hold the USDC. It's the same thing. We think the payment rails for us, the traditional rails, we want to be in that business. We want to be in the business of letting people use their crypto for payment. And if you get a
Mhm.
merchant on our system and you have a Voyager account, then we don't even have to do it. We don't have to do it on the blockchain and save some of those fees too. And that's where we think the real value is long term. It's just going to take a few years to get there.
Okay. So, I heard this. Mike had a conference. I think he stepped in for you like a week or two ago or something. But one of the things he mentioned is that the reason Canada specifically is taking so long in terms of regulation is because you guys have so many other products, and you guys aren't just a platform with 5, 10 tokens. It's a fully fledged ecosystem with
Yeah, I
debit
ask
card,
you the
things like
question.
that.
You're up there, right? I mean, Do you
Yeah.
want me to just come with like the Wealth Simple 2 coins or the Coinberry 8 coins and that's it with no earn product or anything like that? I know the answer to that question. It's like
Yeah.
there's no differentiation. Why be there? We want to be in Canada with our product. We want to be in Europe with our product, not with a watered down version of our product. That's not our goal. That's not Voyager. And so we're working hard with the regulators, the OSC, to get those approvals rather than, I'm sure if we said we were just going to offer Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ripple, because Ripple I think is good up by you because everything has to go through a broker dealer anyway. And so yeah, we're going to offer those and hold it all in cold storage. We'd have a license already, but that's not what we're
Yeah.
asking for. We're asking
Yeah.
for the Voyager product to be in Canada.
Yeah. There are so many people who use Wealth Simple specifically, which is like the Robinhood of Canada, who are, really disappointed with the fact that, you can't transfer coins out. It's, there's a lot of room for improvement. So there's a big market here with no doubt.
There's, we see the opportunity and we don't want to be like everybody else. It just doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve the consumer. Like, why bring another product to the market that's just like everybody else?
Yeah.
It's like if you ever watch the movie Coming to America, the world doesn't need McDowell's when it has McDonald's. It just doesn't need it. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not, that's not what we want to bring there.
Yeah. I mean, there's yet to be a good platform that has both stocks and crypto. So, once you guys get that, that's a game changer, at least here in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're not that far away. We had a long call with our buddies at Market Rebellion, and they're doing a heck of a job. Dirk and Dom and Eric over there are doing a heck of a job building this out. And with the clearing firm, we've got the exact approval of the way I want to move money, which will reinvent the way people do equity trading. It's no doubt about it.
Wow.
It's going to change the way people trade equities in the U.S. No doubt about it.
Can we expect a lot of how do I put this, the features that something like an interactive brokers might have with, earning yield on the stocks that you hold, through something like lending or things like that?
That's a longer term solution. I mean, that first for us is get cash accounts up to go trade stocks in US like Apple and Microsoft and Voyager, and get those out there into the marketplace. Then we can expand into margin accounts, into fully based fully paid stock lending, which most people don't even understand. That if you go to certain brokers in the US right now, TradeStation being one of them, if you go hold crypto in a cash account at TradeStation today, they're lending your securities out and making money on it, and you're not getting anything back. So that's a crime. And I think you need to we think that, again, more value has got to get back to the customer. So when we're ready to launch and expand the product on the equities, we'll have more value back to the consumer.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. When it comes to what we've seen over the past month or so, and I'm assuming a lot of this is to do with crypto price action, but it does appear that App Store and Google Play Store rankings have taken a pretty significant tumble. App Store has actually recovered a decent amount, but is this a clear indication as to what's going on as far as growth? Is this something we should be worried about?
But we test things all the time. I mean, Pam and I, we understand, we've seen this before, right? Like, we understand where the market is. We understand that this is a time of year, by the way. The first quarter of the year is when the traditional online brokers are spending 3 times the amount of money to get accounts because it's tax time. So most people don't make their IRA contributions by December 31st. In the US, you don't have to do it by December 31st. You got to do it by the time you file your tax return, which is April 15th. So a lot of accounts get opened and funded for IRA accounts in the first quarter of the year. So we understand the landscape that we're in and fighting for that position. So we try different things this time of year, and we'll be back to our stuff in April, May, June. But everything's timing. Everything is us playing games and trying to see where we're going to get the best bang for the buck, knowing the marketplace like we do right now.
Interesting. I don't know. This is right here, loss prevention guidelines. I'm assuming this is for the debit card. Is that something in talks?
It's good. It works the same way as any debit card is going to work. So, and to give you one example is, and this is how I know it's front and center, and our team knows about that. Yes, Baroness said yes. Thank you. I got a 23-year-old son, plays college hockey. He was out one night with his buddies after a game and had his Venmo card. I know he is switching to Voyager debit card the minute I allow him to, and the minute it's up and running. No more Venmo for him. And it got stolen from the bar, and he immediately had it locked down. There was a $40 charge. He didn't get hit with the charge. We're going to operate the same way.
Okay.
There'll be a number to call. You can lock it down, and you won't get charged for that. So that's that we understand a debit card needs to be like that, and that's some of the testing we're going through. When about 500 of us or 1,000 of us will have it live testing, is we'll do some of that, and we'll do some of that. We've tried it with the cards that really just tie back to a corporate account now, and then when we go to our individual accounts, we're gonna be testing like that.
Okay, makes sense. On the topic of an NFT, on the NFT platform, I know you're working on that. You have that group of people allocated towards it. What's the long-term goal with it? Is it like a marketplace that connects to different places? I know Coinbase has really focused on this as a partnership with MasterCard. So, what's the long-term vision with NFTs and Voyager?
Voyager's access, right? Like bringing crypto to all and giving access to all. So our goal on the NFT is to be able to give people access out of their effective Voyager wallet, because everyone has their own address. When you send crypto to Voyager, you have an address, and so when you transfer out, you have an address. Is to allow people to access all the different marketplaces, make it smooth and easy to do that, and even bring a lot of the curation that's on a lot of those marketplaces into the Voyager app as well. So it's a one place, but showing more than just one. I don't want to build my own marketplace and have to curate everything. Like we may curate a few things ourselves, and that's some of the things we bring out to the VLP tiers. Maybe a special Gronk NFT or something of that nature, or NASCAR NFT. And based on your tier, you can get those, but we're not going to build a marketplace. There's going to be way too many marketplaces, and you're going to need a kayak of marketplaces where you could actually navigate everywhere, because who the heck wants to view 500 marketplaces to try to find something? It's not long-term sustainable that way.
Okay, makes sense. Can we expect this to generate meaningful revenue for the company?
We haven't figured out the commission model or the revenue model on NFTs. We're building it and saying we want to see people use it, and then we'll figure out the revenue model as we build it. We haven't put a lot of emphasis on making money on the NFTs, but giving people access to it. Okay. So we become the on and off ramp in a lot of cases for that, because you come to us, you'll bring the dollars in. We don't charge for that. You'll buy your ETH, and then you'll be able to move it. And yeah, there'll be a gas fee when you move it. But the idea that there are certain wallets that charge you for the cash movement, and 5% on credit cards, like we're trying to take that away. We want to be an easy on and off ramp with no fees when you bring your money in or take it out. Now, wires are the only oddball on that, because we do have wire fees, which we waive, on significant wires, because the only people that wire us money tend to be six-figure wires. So we want it to be, you could get your money in and convert it quickly to crypto and get it out without any fees.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, one of the biggest problems with NFTs is the gas fees. So eliminating that is big. Will VGX be implemented into this on a bit of a higher level?
Yeah. I mean, look, let's see what I can say is I've been open about it. Like we're looking at a lower and a higher tier, and running all sorts of numbers on that. So yes, that's coming. What they are, we haven't yet figured out. On our buddy DJ's podcast a little over a week ago, I said, hey, if you guys got ideas on what we think the lower and higher tier is, just feel free, tweet at me. I'm happy to get all that information. And then how we implement it into NFTs, yeah, it could be a discount for certain NFTs. We could get that implemented for the particle NFT, but there might be some point that we can, where say the particle NFT, I don't remember, I think it was $1,500 of AVAX or wrapped ETH. Maybe you get a 10% discount if you pay in VGX and something like that. We're thinking about all, and then maybe we burn some with that of the VGX. So we're looking at all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. Will VGX burn be a big emphasis in 2022? Because a lot of people have been asking about that and delays.
Yeah, we're working on that withdrawal solution and payment with VGX and getting out and burning some of that. You know, the one thing is it's interesting to me is like I know I see all this stuff about inflation and we keep flooding the market. We're like we haven't flooded the market. We told everyone up front that it was going to be 40 million tokens in year one, which have been minted already. So no new get minted. 20 million, then 10 million, 10 million. We've completely open about that from day one. We haven't hid that in any way, shape, or form. Then on top of that, you get the 7% staking rewards, which is like everybody does staking rewards. It gets kind of reminted. And
Yeah.
then I look at some of the competitive, landscapes like the Crow token, and they got like 10 billion of them, and they keep printing them left and right. And I don't know. I don't see people yelling at them as much as I get yelled at. And I think we have a very limited supply. That those 80 million tokens that are marketing are going back to consumers. You use the platform, you get the token. What better way to incentivize people for a native token on a platform to use it to get it back? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't that what you would want? I mean, I'm not giving them I'm using it for people using the platform and opening accounts. I'm not giving it to, people on the street to just go sell somewhere else. They're into the accounts in the platform. That's what you would
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. I mean, Crow has a stadium, so
Paid for
maybe
by tokens. Paid for by tokens. If you held a Crow token, if you held a certain amount, you should ask for a seat in they're not in SoFi, right? They're in Staples Center. You should
yes.
get a free ticket to go see LeBron James.
Yeah. Oh man. Share
I'm stirring the
buybacks.
pot. I'm stirring the pot a little bit today.
Yeah, I gotta get LeBron James angry. Yeah. So, anyways, share buybacks.
Yeah.
What's the thought process behind this? And is this something we can expect to continue as Voyager matures?
Share buyback in December. And we filed it, and you can see it all on Cedar.
Yeah.
It gets filed. Didn't help. Like, you got to understand the market. Like, I think there's a mindset, and I get DMs from certain people like, you have to buy your shares back. It's like, well, I'm in the blackout period now until 2 days after I put my quarterly earnings up on Cedar. So I'll file them on the 14th. I could start buying back on February 16th. We bought a bunch back in December. It didn't help.
Yeah.
So, maybe you could say it did help because it would have gone further. You have to understand the market and where the market is. I'm not just sure a buyback, even if I executed right now, when 1 million shares are trading a day, that's $10 million a day getting traded. If I use all my capital to buy back the shares, I don't know where I'm going to put the stock's not going to go much higher, and they're going
Yeah.
to need to raise cash anyway. So you got to be very careful. There's also significant rules about buybacks. You don't do buybacks to push the price up. That's exactly the rules that you're not allowed to do. You buy you buy back when you think there's an opportunity. You can't do it in the last half hour of a day. So there's a lot of rules with this, and I would really recommend folks that say, hey, go buy back, go read the Canadian rules on buybacks. It's not something you can just do whenever you feel like to push the price up. That's not what we're trying to do. We play
Yeah.
by the regulatory rules.
That makes sense. Just kind of a follow-up. You've made multiple acquisitions over the past year or two, like, Coinify and others, which did include stock and that potential to a sense dilution. So, do you do you have a response to the, dilution and buying back and just kind of that?
Read that one again, just so I make sure I got that one.
Okay, so I mean, as a company, you've made multiple acquisitions, which include stock
Yep.
through dilution. So
Yep.
what's the thought process behind using stock instead of something like cash?
So like the one acquisition was really the Coinify acquisition.
Yeah.
We used 15 million of cash and the rest in stock. There are lockup periods on the stock. So if I can do a lockup period where they can't trade the stock, that's a pretty good deal for us too, because it's not becomes freely tradable immediately, and the holders then become long-term holders, And that's what we were trying to do, is create more long-term holders, not short-term holders. So depends on when the stock price, where the stock price is at the time. So there's a lot of factors. I used to do M&A for E-Trade, and we used to analyze that exact same question. Do we have the cash? Do we want to use the cash? Do we want to tie the people we're buying from in to be part of the company is a key question. If you're just buying it and you're not taking any of the staff, you don't care. But you want, when you need the staff to help build it, you want to make sure that they're engaged by owning shares. So there's a lot of pieces of that go into the analysis of what you want to do when you buy a company.
That makes sense. Let's say longer term, let's look out 5-10 years. Once Voyager does end up maturing, generating profits, is buybacks the way you plan on, kind of allocating that money instead of like dividends?
It's a good question for a later date. We'll see what happens when we get to that, into that world. So yeah, I can't really answer that right now. So it's a good question though.
Makes sense. Okay, so looking out into the long run.
I'm gonna switch earbuds. These are almost done.
Hold on one second. For it. Yep. We're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. I saw as I was testing, someone's like, Steve sounds a bit irritated. I'm not irritated. I'm having fun on a roll today. It's just giving my point of view on a lot of things, because there's been so much. When things go down, people get negative, and I think it's easy to do that. It's harder to stay positive, and
of course,
anyone who knows me knows that I have such a positive attitude on almost everything, except for my New York Giants. The rest I have a real positive attitude on, and so I'm just happy that we have a business that is the third largest by AUM and customers in the U.S. So whoever you want to compare me to, the only two who have beaten me is Coinbase and Crypto.com right now. I don't care about it. I mean, we're ahead of everybody else. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't Kraken have like a 9 billion valuation or something in the private markets? It's
a 9 billion. Gemini raised money at a 7 billion. Sam just did a nice job with FTX US at an 8 billion. And I'm sitting at 1.2 billion. But that's okay. We'll keep going.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. I mean, it's like we the only thing you can do is keep getting accounts. I mean, AUM we have by US customers is insane. And the numbers are just that good from that compared to everyone else has institutional, and we're the only ones that are strictly retail. So based on retail numbers, pretty well acknowledged by most people that we're third.
Is the goal just to focus on retail, or maybe add another segment for institutions?
Small and mid-sized businesses as a complement to retail. Those folks that have their own businesses that are already Voyager customers, we're starting to open up some of those accounts for them. It's a manual process. Business KYB is manual. If anyone out there listening has a great technology solution for KYB, I'm all ears. Email me, DM me. But most KYC for retail is technology enabled. Very easy to do. That's why you can open accounts real fast. KYB for the business is just manual. It sucks. And if there was a real solution from a technology perspective, we'd probably have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of small to mid-sized businesses. It's just hard to do. It's very manual to do.
Yeah. So what would look differently on that, like, the small, medium-sized business platform versus what we have now?
Same. It'd be the same platform, because what most of these small to mid-sized businesses want to do is receive crypto in as part of their sales of their being a merchant. And even if they want the dollars, they let someone pay in Bitcoin, they'll take the dollars. They won't take the dollars, bring them to us and buy USDC to get rewards. And so that's how they want to manage their treasury. So it wouldn't change much. It wouldn't change at all, actually. It's just doing the KYB is just different. KYB is different than KYC.
That makes sense. And would there be an implementation with like Coinify where you can, those businesses implement Coinify, gets paid to Voyager, earns interest?
Absolutely. That's exactly the game plan is use the Coinify engine to accept the payments with the QR codes. Money goes right into your Voyager account. You manage it from your app, and you can put your USD that you receive or USDC and put it right in, and have start getting rewards.
Okay. Okay. I mean, this is what I had. I know it's a little bit, difficult to kind of pinpoint. There's a lot of moving parts, but can we expect some form of guidance on this at some point in the future?
It's so guidance when it comes to which piece, guidance from revenue, guidance from margins, guidance from product. All three, I'll give you the same answer. The
Take
answer is,
anything.
the answer is, I don't want to do from a revenue standpoint, transactional volume can change so drastically from day to day.
Of course.
So it's really hard to give guidance. The yield revenue, which is getting more and more staking, is a little bit easier to guide, and we'll probably start doing some of that in the next earnings call, because I can't do it here because then I have to do a release on that.
Yep.
We'll probably start giving more guidance on that, but it does also get affected by the price of the coins. When it comes to margins, our motto and what we're trying to do now is just grow accounts. I don't need to have EBITDA margins. I've been saying this as well. It's like, if I'm storing cash, then I'm not doing my job. My job is to go get customers. So we're going to continue to invest into marketing, thoughtful, the right marketing, not putting our names on buildings. We will not do that. And then from a product roadmap, we've got so many avenues going. And I know it's the biggest joke probably in social media on crypto is Steve in the word soon. So I'm not going to give a roadmap because I'll say soon. And that's, our team's working there bleeping tails off to deliver all these products. And I think people will be pleasantly. Rakesh has done Rakesh, Gerard, and Dan, Gerard Hayanchi, Dan Costantino, Rakesh Gidwani. They have done a killer job in aligning this company to deliver more product. And they know they get tons of pressure from me every single day. I want more coins on the platform. That's coming. And so there's just a lot of things that those guys are working on that's going to expedite product development and the app in 2022.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Where do you see crypto price action going? Obviously, it's very volatile, which that's one of the things you take advantage of. But I know you made some predictions in the past, but
clearly we're all here and we all own crypto, so we think it's long-term positive. I think we're in a little bit of a short-term, like March, 2 to 3 months. We're going to stand kind of static in a way, and then we're going to start exploding again. I am so bullish on a lot of the altcoins and a lot of the level ones because I do believe that, I give an educational presentation. I've done it to groups here in New York City. I've done it to the Dallas Mavericks and their entire staff. I'm going to Dallas in February to speak to their Legends team and their staff. And I give this presentation, and Ehrlich, who now works for us and does all the brand marketing and team and partnership marketing, who was again with Pam and I at E-Trade. We found the video from 1998, one of the most famous Super Bowl commercials ever. It's the Oracle commercial. And they ran a commercial, and I think it was a minute, and it was probably a fraction of the cost 25 years ago. And it was about a technology revolution. And Oracle was at the front of this, in the forefront of this revolution in the way to change the internet and all that. And they were going to power it all. If you saw that commercial today, and it's not a revolution today, it's an evolution. It's a technology evolution. And you replace that with Algorand or Avalanche or Solana, you get the same thing. Like, this is the technology that's going to be the underpinnings of the internet and commerce and transactions in the next 25 years. And so I am so bullish on those. I think that we're going to learn more. I think some are going to step ahead of others. Clearly Solana was a favored child, but it's had some network issues, but they'll figure that out. I actually smiled and laughed when I heard they had network issues because of too many people on the network. I was like, that sounds familiar. And so I actually, I'm so bullish on those things that I think we're going to start seeing the second half of this year all cryptos really take off, because I think people will understand it more and understand how it fits into what's going to happen over the next 20 years.
And that's, do you view interest rates as a risk?
I don't see it. I think the risk is that people don't. I was at the BTC conference a week and a half ago, and was on a panel, and Maya, for anyone who was there and saw it, Maya had the greatest line, and I'm going to keep using it, and I'll keep giving her credit. When they asked us the risks, is interest rate a risk? Is regulatory risk? We all had comments. Got to Maya last. She goes, the only risk is the risk of not participating, is the risk of not being involved. She actually said, I know Maya. I met her in 2018. She had the opportunity to invest in the Voyager token, the Voyager stock at pennies. She goes, that I missed both of those. The risk is not getting involved, because we know this is changing the next 25 years. So the risk is not being involved in something, whether it's Voyager stock, or if it's Bitcoin, or if it's VGX, or it's Solana. It doesn't matter. Be involved, because it could change your life. It will change your life over the next 25 years.
Awesome. And then one final question, more of a kind of about you. What do you want to get out of being the CEO of Voyager? Is it the, ability to participate in the crypto markets, sports, philanthropy? What is it?
My favorite part about being in the crypto markets truly is all the people I've met. I mean, we'll be down in Daytona again. Landon's racing in 2 to 3 weeks, the first race of the season. We're working on something to meet people, happy hour and so forth. We're going to do that at other racetracks. We found going to happy hours and setting them up in bars outside the track, before the race, is a lot more fun and more inclusive than doing suites and stuff. And we want to be really inclusive with all that. I love meeting people. I love being people, talking crypto. Telling me I suck is as much fun as people telling me I'm good. I don't care. I like meeting people. And that's to me, that's the best thing out of this. And then if I could do some philanthropic work out of this and really help, that's like icing on the cake. I mean, the whole key about it isn't about making money or all that. It's helping people change their lives and meeting people while we're doing it. And we truly are blessed to be in the position we are. I'm blessed to be in the position we are. Thankful for being in the position, and enjoy what I do. I mean, enjoy coming on and talking to you, talking to DJ. I know I got Dan. I got Rob from Digital Asset News on Monday. I love this stuff. I love engaging with you and your communities, and that's really what makes my day. That's really what I treasure the most.
That's awesome, Steve. Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. And, obviously a lot of things that we did cover. Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you again for all you do. Hopefully we get to Canada real soon, so you could actually participate on the platform, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right.
And if I could ever get back up to Canada, we got to go grab a beer, maybe catch I don't know if you're a hockey or basketball fan. I'm both. Happy to catch, or a baseball fan. We'll go catch a game.
Yeah, I'm a Raptors guy, basketball.
All right. So there's a couple of Raptors that used to have accounts when they were playing in the U.S. They can't have them now. But yeah, we had a couple of them. So, pretty good on that front. We got a ton of athletes on the platform. I can't
That's
say
awesome.
for privacy issues, but we'll go catch a Raptors game. Promise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for watching. If you found this insightful, please consider hitting that like button, subscribe button, and follow Steve on Twitter. Earls
15. Yeah, EHRLS 15. Yep.
All right. Thank you. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.